Good day, everyone. I am Dana Jane Villacora, and we are the Group 8. Our topic is all about the globalization of religion. It focuses on how globalization affects religious practices and beliefs, and how religion connects to both global conflict and global peace. Our objectives for this discussion are: number 1, to explain how globalization affects religious practices and beliefs, and number 2, to analyze the relationship between religion, global conflict, and peace. So, by the end of this discussion, we should understand how religion continues to evolve in a fast-changing, globalized world. So now, let's begin with the question: what is religion? For Christians, religion is a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. It is centered on faith, prayer, and following His teachings. For Muslims, religion is seen as a way of life. Islam guides them not only in prayer but also in every action, like how they eat, dress, and treat others. In general, religion is a social and cultural system that includes beliefs, morals, practices, and traditions that connects human to something spiritual or divine. However, defining religion is not simple because people's beliefs and spiritual experiences differ. For example, a Buddhist may focus on inner peace and meditation, while a Christian may focus on salvation and service to others. This diversity shows how religion is both personal and cultural, shaping individuals and entire societies. So, now let's look at the most known religion in the world. Number 1, the first one is Christianity. Christianity is about 2.2 billion followers. It teaches love, forgiveness, and salvation through Jesus Christ. For instance, churches can be found almost everywhere in the world, from small chapels in the Philippines to cathedrals in Europe. The second one is Islam, about 1.8 billion followers. It follows the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad and emphasizes the 5 pillars of Islam, which included prayer, fasting, and charity. For example, Muslims around the world face Mecca 5 times a day when they pray. The third one is Hinduism, with 1.1 billion followers. This is mostly in India. It teaches about karma, dharma, and the cycle of rebirth. For example, the celebration of Diwali, the Festival of Lights, is one of the major Hindu traditions celebrated globally. So the last one is the Buddhism, around 520 million followers. It focuses on meditation and enlightenment as taught by Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. Example, many people even know Buddhists practice meditation today, showing how Buddhist practice have spread through globalization. These religions have spread widely, showing how faith connects people across different nations. So let's move to the next slide. Spreading of religion through early stage of globalization. So, religion began to spread globally even before the modern world. So, ang religion di ay kay nag-start na sila og spread wala pa ang modern world. So, during the early stages of globalization, people shared their faith through pilgrimage. The first one is pilgrimage. So, when people travel to holy places to show devotion. For example, mga Catholic, kay mo travel sa mga cathedrals, mga chapels, sa around the world to show devotion. So, the next one is tourism. So, tourism is when travelers expose others to new religions and traditions. So, for instance, like tourists visiting Buddhist temples in Thailand or Shinto shrines in Japan often learn about those religions and bring the experience home. Sa kuan di ay sa tourism di ay kay naay mga ang people ani kay mo travel. So example, mo visit ba sila sa Thailand to visit the Buddhism or mga mo to ilang religion, then if ikauli na nila murag naa sila yung ma-learn. So the third one is the Silk Road is this ancient trade route connected Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. It became a major path for not only trade but also for the exchange of religious ideas, like how Buddhism spread from India to China and Japan. So ang kaniding Silk Road ay from the word road, murasag na ay road or murasag na ay path nga. Example, ang Buddhism kay mostly kay naa na sa India, but nagkadugay kay murag na spread siya to China and Japan. So the last one is cultural exchange. So people who migrated for trade or exploration shared beliefs and adapted new costumes. For example, this is our very example. Spanish colonization brought Christianity to the Philippines, making it to the largest Christian nation in Asia today. So, as we all know, our first colonizers is the Spanish. So, katong time nga gi-colonize ta sa mga Spanya kay ang ilaha yung gi-brought kay ang Christianity or ang Christian nga religion. So, as of today or as of now, kay kita ang pinakakaan kanang murag largest Christian nation in Asia today. So, this showed that even before modern globalization, religion already played a key role in connecting civilization. So, before pa jud aning modern world kaning 21st century, kay parang way back pa jud kay nagkuan na jud ni mo nag-spread na jud ni ang religion. So, ang religion murag nahimo sa ni sa key role to connect civilians. So now, let's talk about globalization and religion in the modern world. So, globalization means increasing connections among countries through technology, communication, and trade. Today, globalization affects how religion spreads and how people practice their faith. So, the positive effects, globalization helps spread religion faster through the internet, social media, and mass media. For example, during the pandemic, churches and chapels held online services so people could worship from home. So it encourages interfaith dialogue or discussions between different religions, promoting understanding and peace. For example, the annual World Day of Prayer for Peace. It gathers leaders of many religions to pray together for world peace. So ang kanideng one of the positive effects. So one of the example of the globalization and religion in the modern world is that as we all know, ang technology jud ang nag-run through or ang kaniyong ato ang generation kay technology jud. So ang technology murag nagamit sad siya for positive effect kay kanang example sa katong during pandemic. So di man makalakaw ang mga people or dili makagawas. So ang gibuhat sa mga churches or mga chapels kay nag-held sila online services. So bisa pag dili adto personal ang mga people kay maka-worship gyapon sila from home. So the negative effects is globalization can cause conflict when religious groups feel threatened by other beliefs or cultures. For example, some religions use their religion to justify violence, which leads to tension and discrimination. For kuan ni siya, ang negative effects pud aning globalization kay murag ka nang gigamit na lang siya for justifying their violence kay naa jay murag siguro ang uban dili sa tanan or wala jud ko nag general naay uban nga religion nga murag gigamit na lang nila ilhang religion to justify their violence, which leads to murag gi-discriminate dasad sila inana good. So while globalizations bring religions closer, it also challenges how faith is practiced and understood. So naa jud kanang dili jud ang tanan jud naa jud positive and negative effect. So now let's move to the next slide. The globalization and religion, a paradox. Finally, let's discuss the paradox of globalization and religion. So globalization is often linked with spreading the same ideas and values worldwide, but in reality, religions respond differently. So it because some religions embrace globalization, using it to spread their message and reach new followers. For example, churches uses YouTube, Facebook, and podcasts to share Bible teachings to millions online. Meanwhile, other religious groups resist globalization because they fear losing their identity or traditions. For example, some indigenous religions prefer to keep their practices private to protect them from being commercialized or misunderstood. So na ang globalization dai dili ng religion kay murag ni adapt sa globalization. Kay ang uban na ni adapt like ang uban kay gigamit ang media, YouTube, Facebook or kanang naiuban nga mga podcast to share their Bible teachings to online. Meanwhile, nasa laing religions nga kanang murag mahadlok sila nga mawagtang ilang identity if ilahang i-online murag spread nilag maayo. So for example ana kay ang sa mga indigenous religions kay murag gi-prepare nila nga i-keep ilahang identity or ilahang practice to private to protect them being commercialized or misunderstood. Kaya naman yung uban nga di jud na to ma-avoid nga naiuban nga murag mo discriminate or mo murag dili maka-understood sa ilahang religion nasa uban nga ganahan makabaw. Pero it's depends sa ilaha sa ilahang nakatunan or ilahang na andan. This shows that the paradox globalizations connect the world, but at the same time it can make religions more protective of their unique beliefs. So instead of creating one global religion, globalization has actually made religious life more diverse, active, and complex. So naadyo ang paradox ani sa globalization and religion kay ang uban nga ni-adapt, ang uban sa wala. Karang nasa uban nga tungod sa globalization kay ang ubang religion became more protective of their unique beliefs kay murag di sila ganahan nga example ang uban online dili sila ganahan ana kay murag mahadlok sila nga ma-lose ilahang identity. To summarize, globalization has helped religions spread faster and reach new followers. It also promotes cultural exchange and interfaith understanding. However, it can also cause conflicts and tension when beliefs clash. So, despite these challenges, religions continues to play a major role in promoting peace, compassion, and moral guidance. So, when using positively, religion can become a bridge between nations, helping people understand one another beyond race, culture, or language. So, in the end, globalization and religions are both powerful forces that shape our world. So, if we use them wisely, with respect, openness, and understanding, they can work together to create a peaceful and united global community.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Tiansain Asinar. So, I'll be talking about the impact of globalization on religion. So, the impact of globalization on religion is daghan kayo. The first one is religion is being eroded, religion is being strengthened, religion is declining, but it has developed new identities of hybridity, beliefs and traditions, culture of pluralism, golden rule, peace, differences, and cultural deterioration. So, globalization affects religion in a lot of ways. So some people, they start to lose interest in their faith, while others, they become stronger believers. It also mixes different beliefs and traditions, which leads to new religious ideas. So, globalization teaches values like peace and understanding, but at the same time, it can also cause some cultural loss and highlight our differences. So, next one, guys, globalization engendering greater religious tolerance. So, the Golden Rule, alongside with values such as human dignity, equality, freedom, peace, and solidarity, through such religious values. Globalization engenders greater religious tolerance in such areas as politics, economics, and society. So, ang kani siyang it talks about how globalization promotes religious tolerance. So, through globalization, people around the world can share common values like peace, equality, and human dignity. So, because of that shared values, people from different religions learn to respect one another. So, even if our beliefs are not the same, we can still live together peacefully and we can work towards understanding each other better. So, the next one, kay religion in terms of politics. So, Roman Catholic Church, the World Council of Churches, and the Jewish Diaspora also take part in international affairs such as Jubilee 2000. So, World Faith Development Dialogue, an effort of international faith leaders along with the World Bank to support development agendas corresponding to the UN's Millennium Development Goals. Next, religious organizations have themselves been involved in interreligious dialogue. The Parliament of the World's Religion of 1993. So, in simpler form, religious groups such as the Roman Catholic Church, the World Council of Churches, and the Jewish Diaspora they take part in global political and social efforts. So, they support projects like World Faith Development Dialogue, which also works with the United Nations to promote peace and development. So, religious organizations, they also participate in interfaith dialogues para mag-build of understanding and cooperation among different religions.
Good day everyone, my name is Roslyn Tanyan. I am reporting in terms of economics. In terms of economics, the main religions of each of those countries have also grown financially, providing more financial resources for religions to spread their beliefs. Missionary work is strong in many third world countries. Example, the Catholic Church owns schools, hospitals, and properties that generate income, allowing it to fund charitable works and mission worldwide. Then, missionary works is strong in many developing or third world countries, supported by donations and international funding. Example, Christian missionary groups from the US, Europe often build schools, churches, and community centers in countries like Philippines. Kanang mga ilahang mga kanang uban diha nga gipang sponsor gani yang like sa USA katong last year man siguro to nga sponsor sila mga gamit sa as in hog sila og ganang mga supplies like mga materials para himo og mga eskwelahan mga dili eskwelahan paghimo og rooms kato mga foreigner nga nitabang sad gani og build din mo na sila ang like Philippines, Kenya, or India. This project boosts local economies by providing jobs and services. Then, next, in terms of technological advancement, a website provide information and explanation about different religions to any person regarding of his or her geographical location. Example, website like Bible Gateway, Quran.com, or Buddhist websites allows people to read and study religious texts online. So, bosa na sila ang kanang usa sa way nga kanang bisag kinsa nga kuan bisan unsa pa ka nga religion makakuan ka sa uban sad nga religion kay through ana nga website pod. Then as well as provide the opportunity to contact others worldwide and hold debates which allow religious ideas to spread. Like technology allows people to connect and debate with other globally, spreading religious and spiritual ideas faster. Example, social media. Platforms like Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter host live discussion and religious seminars that reach millions of viewers worldwide. Then, television allows religious channels that provide visual religious teachings and practices. Religious supports channel that broadcast teaching, worship services, and religious event. Example, channels like kanang sa Catholic kani pareha ng kabantay mo anang kanang channel sa channel 78 na siguro na siya or 72 ano ni every unsa na siya Sunday nga naadyo siya kanang mag-seminar gani nga I don't know kung nalimot ko sa unsa na siya nga really kanang Catholic ba na siya or kanang iglesia nga kanang nga kanang lagi siya ba sa TV gid ba like nalimot ko kung sa to nga basta naa siya sa kanang mo broadcast jud gani sila o kanang mainana moto kanang mo nang like also Daystar or Peace TV broadcast mo na siya sermons and religious programs internationally. Then facilities improve as well. Facilities have improved due to technology, making worship more accessible and comfortable. Example, modern churches and mga mosque gani mo gamit gani sila they use sound system. So, LED screens, pareha ng kabantay mo na sa Santo Niño pod na sila ka ng LED screens nga dagko kayo and air conditioning to enhance worship experiences. Mao na siya. Then sa kuansad sa in general, globalization allows for religions previously isolated from one another to now have regular and unavoidable contact. As a result, globalization now brings to the light the fact that since religions have similar values, not one of them is correct and therefore can be changed. excuse me, example, interfaith dialogues and peace conference like kada sa mga parliament of the world religions brings together leaders from Christianity, then Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and other faiths to promote mutual respect. People can now easily learn about other religions through social media or international travel, encouraging open-mindedness and coexistence. Then, globalization creating backlash of religious parochialism. Since globalization is considered as the first truly world revolution, all revolutions disrupt the traditions and customs of a people, that is people's very security, safety, and identity. Example, some communities resist Western influences such as clothing, media, or lifestyle, and instead promote a return to their traditional religious practices. Then as globalization disrupts traditional communities, causes economic marginalization, and brings mental stress, individual feels these less desirable consequences of globalization. Then with religion's power to convey a picture of security, stability, and simple answers through stories and beliefs, unlike economic plans, political programs, or legal regulation, individuals turns to religion. When globalization leads to economic inequality or cultural loss, individuals may feel disconnected or anxious, prompting them to seek comfort in religion. Like ganing kunuhay like sa reality lang kanang atong kuan nga. Siyempre ganang basa na atay mga kanang gipanghunahon na kanang mga bati or natay mga problema or unsa ba natong mga kuan dira nga mga negative mo na siya ang kanang makaunahon na din tanong nga mo kuan mo seek ganitag comfort sa religion like musimba ta or mo kuan ta sa ilahang kuan gani like ang uban gani ana kay magbasa-basa og kuan basa-basa og Bible ana. Then example in developing countries, people may turn to faith-based organization for support and stability when facing poverty or social challenges. Like kabantay man ang mga Muslim, sulti lang pa sa mga Muslim. Mas gani nala ko inakuanan nga na silbing experience dili ako pero sa ako ang nakaila. Problema gani siya sa kuan sa dito sa Saudi. Problema siya kay kanang ganing kibabi ka kung kita ko nata sa laing lugar kay ho ganita ganang gama mo ubos kislagtan nato like mura ganita i-discriminate din daog ta until nga kanang na siya nakaila nga Muslim din gipakuan gani siya nang silbi mura gani siya ganang ning balhin siya og religion like nagpa-Muslim gid siya as in nagpa-Muslim mo to ang style sa ilaha kay was manggod nga Muslim ka in case og naay mahitabo nimo daw kay tabangan jud nila as in tabangan jud nila nya mo na ang mga Muslim biya kay mo na yung mga marag na powerful ay di ko kay nga powerful pero sa ako lang na naibawaan lang Mao na siya. Example na is Muslim. Then, religion offers a sense of belonging and moral guidance that political or economic system often cannot provide. Therefore, during times of rapid global change, people may become more religious or conservative to preserve their identity. Example, the rise of conservative religious movements in parts of Middle East and even the US reflects how people cling to faith in response to globalization uncertainties. That would be all of my discussion of my reports. Thank you so much, everyone.
Good day, everyone. I'm Angel Cepeda. So, globalization disrupting traditional communities. So, this part is all about globalization that is breaking down local ways of life. So, this is how they break down the local ways of life. So, first is replaces them with larger impersonal organizations. So, as traditional communities disappear, they're being replaced by big institutions such as multinational companies, global media, or international governments. These organizations are often impersonal. People don't know each other personally, unlike the small, tight-knit communities of the past. So, next is it dramatically alters what individuals traditionally understood themselves by citizenship, nationality, and immigration. So, globalization changes how people see their identity. In the past, a person's sense of self came from being a citizen of a nation or a member of culture. Though, but now, with global movement and mixed cultures, those ideas are less clear or less important. People may no longer feel strongly tied to one country to national identity because of how they because of the globalization that breaking down the old local ways of life. That's why. So next is religious leaders pointing to modern society's loss or ethical values and increased corruption. Preach the only answer to the current decay is a return to traditional values and religious norms. Religious leaders observe that modern society has become more immoral and corrupt due to materialism and loss of spiritual guidance. They believe that the way to solve these problems is to return to traditional moral values, often based on religion, which they see as the foundation of a healthy society. So, next is religion supplies these individuals with a feeling of being a part of a group that represents their interests and allows them to regain their traditional sense of who they are. For many people who feel lost or disconnected in the modern global world, religion provides belonging and identity. It gives them a community that shares their beliefs and helps them reconnect with their roots and moral values, restoring a sense of purpose and meaning. Next is the globalization bringing economic marginalization. So this part is all about globalization connects economies across the world, but it can also widen the gap between rich and poor nations or people. So first is as transnational corporations increasingly take over the role of the state's involvement in the economic sector, the government loses its status as a welfare provider. So large multinational companies now control many industries that used to be managed by governments such as energy, healthcare, and education. As a result, government have less power to provide public services and social welfare because corporations dominate economic activities for profit rather than for public good. So, next is westernization or Americanization. So, westernization means adopting Western culture, values, and lifestyles. especially those from the United States. This can include fashion, language, entertainment, technology, and political ideas, often leading to the decline of local traditions and cultural identities in other parts of the world. Next, religion plays a social role and gains more recognition from the marginalized, particularly those in third world countries. In many developing nations, religions become a source of hope and identity for people who feel excluded or powerless. It provides community support, moral guidance, and a sense of belonging amid economic hardship and social inequality. Next, religious organizations such as Catholic Relief Services, World Vision International, and Islamic Relief Worldwide help serve the disadvantaged in areas such as poverty relief, healthcare, the HIV or AIDS crisis, and environmental problems. These faith-based organizations actively address global issues by providing humanitarian aid and social services. They help poor communities through food programs, medical missions, education, disaster relief, and environmental protection, showing how religion contributes positively to social welfare and development. So next is globalization causing mental stress. Globalization creates pressure on people to keep up with rapid changes in technology, competition, and global standards. This can lead to anxiety, insecurity, and stress, especially when individuals fear being left behind. So, first, it leaves individuals worrying about losing work status or other privileges. As global companies expand and competition increases, many workers fear losing their jobs or social positions. They worry about being replaced by cheaper labor, automation, or outsourcing, which causes constant uncertainty and mental strain. Okay, patay na. Next is globalization favors material prosperity as the aim of life over inner peace. So modern global culture often values money, positions, and success more than emotional or spiritual well-being. People are taught that happiness comes from owning material things rather than finding inner peace or contentment. But so dili na to kalimtan nga money can't buy happiness bisag unsa pa na ang nanato diri sa world guys tungod ng globalization kanang bag-o nga ilang pa maagi karon kay dapat atong timan-an nga kung unsa magay ato maangkon karon kay dili na makakuan sa tong happiness gyud. So next is individuals focus on attaining some material possessions such as house, car, game, or simply any object. People often believe that buying or achieving more material goods will bring happiness or success. This mindset is reinforced by global advertising, social media, and consumer culture. So, grabe yun na maka-influence ang social media karon. So, lastly, ay wala pa din. When they attain such items, however, they find themselves empty inside and therefore realize that an inner peace can never be achieved through material possessions. After obtaining the things they desire, individuals may feel temporary joy but soon realize it doesn't last. They feel emotionally unfulfilled and discover that true happiness doesn't come from material wealth. So just like what I've said, kaniha nga, dili jud nato ma-feel ang tinuod nga kalipay sa mga material things or even sa money. So, next is religion provides them the way to inner peace and the sense of personal fulfillment. For many, religion or spiritually becomes a source of comfort and meaning. It offers moral guidance, community, and a sense of purpose that helps them find peace beyond material success. So we only feel happiness in in Jesus' presence. That's why it's important jud nga mukuanta sa mga kanang mga spiritual para mga etc. Lastly, these individuals realize that getting involved within their communities and organizing together in social movements for a good cause brings more satisfaction to them than do material possessions. People find deeper fulfillment when they help others or work for social causes rather than focusing on personal gain. Contributing to the community creates belonging, purpose, and genuine happiness that material things can't provide. So, in general, in face of rapid changes in the globalized world, to regain the sense of certainty, many individuals turn to religion for a clear explanation of what is going on in the world, with its strength as a powerful identity that brings the message of unity and security in times of crisis. Religion provides the idea of a home. So this statement means that as the world changes quickly due to globalization, bringing uncertainty, confusion, and loss of traditional values, many people seek comfort and stability in religion. Religion gives them clear answers and guidance, helping them understand what is happening and offering a sense of belonging, unity, and emotional security, like finding a home in the midst of chaos. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Christine May Soko and today we'll talk about the globalization shaping religious identity. So what do you mean by globalization shaping religious identity? So globalization influenced religious identity by exposing people to new beliefs, promoting tolerance and challenging traditional practice. Religion clings to truth when fulfilling God's word, but of course, there will be an exception to those who reject such a truth. So, nadyo'y mga lain nga mga tao nga dili mo tuo sa kamutuoran o nasa uban nga mutuo. So, religions hold to what it believes is true based on God's words. However, not everyone accepts or allows the same truth. In times of uncertainty like globalization, therefore, collective identity is reduced to a number of cultural religious characteristics. Then and us and they and are. In other words, the object suddenly becomes recognized as a thread. So during the times of uncertainty like globalization, mga peoples kay nag-start na kining divide silang self, so they create division such as kanang mura sila nag-ila-ila aho. So where some people see others as different or even a threat. So next is since the 1911 attacks, there has been a tendency of the West to link the religion of Islam with terrorist practice, while Al-Qaeda links the U.S. Christians or Judeo-Christians nation. Attacks on innocent people based on cultural religious characteristics occur today. Muslim in the United States, Western Europe, or India, Kurds in Iraq, and Jews in France. This cultural religious characteristic becomes a unfulfilling force against others not adhering to a particular truth. So, after sa 9/11 attacks, many Western countries began to connect Islam with terrorism. At the same time, groups like Al-Qaeda called the United States a Christian or a Judeo-Christian nation. So because of this, innocent people have been attacked or discriminated against because of their religions or culture, like Muslim in the US, Kurds in Iraq, and Jews in France. So these religions and cultural identities can sometimes unite people, but also cause conflict with those who believe differently. So next is in general. Having a faith and way to religious to come in direct contacts with one another, globalization has intended brought religions to a circle of a competition and conflict. As long as religion sees themselves as the world religious and reinforce their specific identities and change for religious to avoid conflict among one another and gray. So globalization brings religious closer together, but it also creates competition and misunderstanding. As long as the religion sees themselves as separate as superior, conflict between them are hard to avoid. So next is religions towards globalization, peace, and conflict. The religions of terrorism, Islam and Christianity. Terrorism, the threatened or actual use of violence or illegal force to attain political, economic, religious, or social goal through fear, coercion, and intimidation. By understanding both religious core and teaching, we can say that both Islam and Christianity itself has nothing to do with terrorism. Though in the public mind, Islam started to be fundamentally associated with terrorism. So for this one, terrorism means using violence or threats to achieve political, religious, or social goals through fear. So sila kay nagamit sila mga violence nga mga bunuhaton para lang ma-achieve nila ang political nga rule sa mga religious or social goals. Yeah, both Islam and Christianity is in their true teaching do not support terrorism. So ang Islam ug Christianity kay wala na sila nag-support sa mga terrorism. In fact, both religions teach peace, love, and respect for others. So mao yung ginatulo sa Islam ug Christianity sa mga ubang tao, ang peace, love, and respect for others. So that's all for my part. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, I am Tapia Harl James, and I'm going to talk about the conflict caused by the religion worldwide. Now, because of religion, many people all around the world are divided, and because of this division, many conflict arises. One of these example is the infamous 9/11 and the most recent Israel versus Philistine war. But if we look closer into these religions, we can see the opposite. We can see that it upholds peace, it unites people instead of divide. The Bible even say that love your neighbors. Jesus say love your enemies. Confucius say do not do unto others what you do not want others do unto you. With this information in mind, we can safely say that religion is both an ongoing conflict and a coexistence, a way to unite and divide people all around the world. Globalization's impact on religious practices. Due to globalization, many religious groups now rely on modern technologies such as mic, speakers, screens, etc., and now can easily spread their influence across the sea through media. Religion is now embracing modernization as part of their practices. However, there are also religious groups who isolate themselves in order to keep and preserve their ancient practices and culture.
To summarize or to conclude, religion connects to both conflict and peaceful around the world. So religion is not always the main cause of wars or global conflict. In fact, it can actually help promote peace by teaching values like kindness, forgiveness, and unity. Religion gives people moral guidance and help create laws and behaviors that keep societies peaceful and organized. Because of globalization, religions such as Catholicism, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism have become more influential worldwide. Religion has also helped form modern nations, especially those that base their laws and values on moral or spiritual principles. However, it also explains that religion can sometimes be used to gain power. In history, colonizers used religion as an excuse to take controls of lands and people. They pretended to spread faith, but their true goal was often power or wealth. So, the main idea here is that religion itself is not the real reason for conflict. It is people who sometimes use religion to hide selfish or political goals. But when used correctly, religion can be a powerful tool for global peace because it teaches respect, compassion, and unity among all people. So that's all for our topic. I hope you have learned something and thank you for listening.